Community through business, building relationships, and building Waterloo Region. 570 News presents Business to Business, powered by Save on Energy. Here's your host, Glenn Pelletier.
Good afternoon. Welcome to Business on 570 News, powered by Save on Energy, and a happy Oktoberfest to one and all. It's a great time of year.
Wunderbar.
It is Oktoberfest East Wunderbar, and we have a Wunderbar show coming up.
I think so.
This afternoon, notwithstanding the bubbling rage that is circulating through both of you.
Yeah.
And a new segment that you guys came up with, the Fair and Open Tendering Act segment of rage.
Yeah, and we're going to get, what we talked about, we said, this is kind of, to some extent, a little difficult for people to keep in the headlines, but it is so important. We're going to talk about this every week.
I'm wild.
Every week until it's solved. So maybe we're just
never going to stop.
Never going to stop. And so I think we've already established that we're in week 4 of talking about this issue until the province of Ontario, all the political parties get their act together and solve this problem, because it hurts every taxpayer and every business and every municipality.
You'll notice as well, Glenn, how well dressed Ian is in the studio. I think he forgot we were on the radio, not on television.
No, some of us have big, important meetings
So
today.
listen, guys, what's on deck today? We've got Todd Banks from the Sherwood and District Chamber of Commerce, which is
Sherwood Park, just
Sherwood
outside,
Park
kind of a suburb of Edmonton.
Now, you guys bumped into him in Kelowna at the COC?
Yep, and he actually, from across the room, I walked into the room and I could see Todd waving his arms and screaming at me to get over there, and really he couldn't wait to speak to Ian and I about opportunities that are there for manufacturers in our area to do work in Alberta. And for some reason or another, the message isn't getting out when they put their tenders across the country, these big companies out of Alberta. I don't know whether we ignore them here, but they're really challenged with trying to get manufacturers jumping on the tenders and having to outsource it to China and Korea, and that's just not working for them. They really need Canadian companies to step to the plate.
But specifically, they're looking for, and I think what he said to us, and he'll probably say later in the show, is they're looking for the strength of Ontario's manufacturing sector.
Absolutely.
So the questions that I have for him, we're going to drill down a little bit more. What are specifically those things? It's tool and die making, it's fabrication, it's foundries, it's electrical and mechanical. Those are all the things that are component parts of the big projects they do out there. And I don't think, I'm starting to better understand it because of our chats with Ken Colbley and with Todd. So I think it's really going to be interesting, and we're going to talk about how we do some exploration of what's available, and then actually probably try and tie it in. How do we formalize? Yeah. Do we bring that into our Manufacturing Summit 2014? So in the spring, we actually have a group of people come in and sign some business. So we're looking forward to it.
Coming up, you have a guy who's no stranger to either one of you. He works for the Greater KW Chamber, where he is the Vice President of Strategic Initiative, Lester Hawley. What's he
Captain Stubing.
Captain Stubing. No, Lester's he's been a tremendous asset. He joined, he was my first hire when I joined at the Chamber, but he does my finance, but he, more importantly, from my perspective, because he does a great job on finance, but he does my special initiatives. And where we got started on the travel, and we're going to talk about the travel program. And the travel program that the Chamber's do, and Greg can talk about the start of this, because you actually were doing it before we were. And these are what we call, and you can describe it, but we're going to talk about some of the trips we've got planned, how we connect with the local business to make this a really cheap or inexpensive, high quality, easy to book and do trip for business folks here in the region. But you guys got it started.
They're 10-star trips.
Absolutely.
For 2-star prices.
Yeah.
And that's really the easy way to say it. But they really lend themselves to that middle-aged kind of traveler that's maybe not thinks that they're not ready for group travel, but
a real opportunity we've been China, Budapest, Abu Dhabi, but we'll talk about all the places and the way Ireland and how business people can connect.
Yeah.
All right, lots to get to today, but first off, we're joined by John Finch for the Save on Energy segment. John with the Kitchener-Wilmot Hydro. John, thanks for coming up.
Well, thanks for coming back in. And last week we were talking about the Energy Symposium. I've heard from a number of people today. In fact, saw a lot of of businesses that have said they got good information on that. But let's drill down a little bit today on how to actually get started. So the first step is, I think you were just telling me off air that it is getting the assessment done. So tell me how you get that done, and what do you get from it when the assessment's done by the Save On Energy folks?
Yeah, right on, Ian. The first step when looking at energy savings is definitely to either contact your local electric utility, that being Kitchener-Wilmot Hydro, Cambridge and North Dumfries Hydro, and Waterloo North Hydro. Contact your utility and ask to speak to the conservation team. Mm-hmm. And what we offer right now is we have technical specialists on our teams, and they will go out to a business and do a walkthrough. Mm-hmm. So just as it sounds, we do a walkthrough, we look for opportunities, we work with the facility manager, and the first step is identifying where the opportunities are. So
things like, and so just to be very practical, we talked about lighting as being one of the low-hanging fruit last week. Yeah. But lighting's one. You look at HVAC systems.
AC, air conditioning is big right now. We're getting a lot of interest from companies looking at air conditioning. That's another one.
Okay, what about things like insulation, things that you can't see? Is it insulation, or is this more visible electrical usage of electricity?
Typically, it starts with technology. So in most buildings, lighting, air conditioning, controls. Mm-hmm. Controls are a big one these days. You look at manufacturing facilities, you have air compressors and process equipment and chillers. So it really depends on the building type, but I think the first step is contact one of the electric utilities that I mentioned and
get that assessment done.
And
so does that once you've got the assessment done, it really gives you a plan. So
exactly,
you can say and we're not talking about, yes, you do large businesses, but you do everyone, small, medium, and large size business. So if you're a medium sized business and you got 10 or 20 employees and you've got a plan, you say, I can't do it all at once, but I at least know what I need to do. Can you stage this? I mean, is there any reason why you couldn't stage it over, say, a couple of years to fit it into your budget so you can make those improvements in terms of energy reduction and saving of cost?
Yeah, and that's a good plan for a lot of smaller businesses, medium-sized businesses, to break it apart. And you really got to build it into your regular maintenance within your facility. It's got to make sense for the business. Mm-hmm. And you got to look at the different pieces of equipment or the different opportunities, and you need to look at the return on investment. And that's what we help with. We will help figure out where the best investment of your money is within your facility, and then build it into your plan.
So I think last week you mentioned that if you replace your old fluorescent lighting system with a new one, I mean, the return on investment could be, so say, and give us some order of magnitude for an average size, maybe $4,000 or $5,000 for lighting.
Sure.
And you can see that return on investment in 1 year.
Absolutely. And we'll pay up to 50% of the project cost. So you can see that our incentives for these retrofits definitely help the return on investment. And again, that's what you got to get from an assessment. That's what we're going to break down for you and give you that plan so that you got a good strategy for the next 1 year, 3 years, 5 years.
So your plan comes in and says, okay, on the lighting system it could be $5,000. Your AC, you may need to put another $10,000 in, but we'll start with the lighting. You're saying on the first on that $5,000 investment, the Save on Energy program would rebate half of that amount?
That's right.
Wow.
Yeah, it's pretty good. And for some businesses, what they'll do is, and I've been a part of it, you do one project. So, for example, let's say a business invests $5,000. We give them a check for $2,500. They take that $2,500 and reinvest it into an AC retrofit, an air conditioning retrofit.
So do the next thing on the list.
That's right.
Which ultimately lowers your whole. And that's what the program is. Save on Energy is about reducing energy demand in the province. The byproduct for for business is that it's saving money off their bottom line if they do make those investments.
Yeah, that's right.
And I think for everyone, it's helping the environment by using less energy.
It's a lot of wins for everyone with this, and we're definitely out there trying to promote these programs and invite us in. I mean, we know what we're talking about, and we can definitely, we've helped. Alone in Kitchener right now, I was actually looking at our numbers, and 365 businesses have participated in this program. So I want everyone to participate right across Kitchener, Waterloo, and Cambridge.
Well, John, you make a great case for it. It's always a delight to have you on the program. Is there a website where people can go to get more information?
Absolutely. If people go to saveonenergy.ca.
That's great. And in the coming weeks, we'll look at some of the specific programs again, and we can drill down a little more.
All right. Thanks for coming in. That's John Finch of Kitchener-Wilmot Hydro as Business to Business continues, powered by Save On Energy.
We'll be right back with more Business to Business, powered by Save On Energy. Call in with your questions at star 570, 570-2545 or 1-800-570-5715. Business to Business, powered by Save On Energy, featuring local businesses, solutions, and success stories, connecting community through business on 570 News.
Welcome back to Business on 570 News, powered by Save On Energy, and it's a delight for me to talk to our next guest, having been born in the beautiful province of Alberta. And speaking of beautiful parts of Alberta, Sherwood Park and District, the area near Edmonton, is just a gorgeous part of the country. And Todd Banks is joining us now. He is the president of the Sherwood Park and District Chamber of Commerce. And gentlemen, you bumped into Todd, or you knew Todd before you went to the COC annual general meeting in Kelowna, right?
That's correct, yeah. And we've known Todd for a couple of years now. Todd's been the president and CEO of the Sherwood Park Chamber of Commerce. And I think, Todd, you and I met probably the first time maybe in St. John's, Newfoundland, I believe.
Yeah, 2 years ago at the Canadian Chamber AGM. It was a beautiful part of the country, and very fortunate to meet up with you.
It's Ian, and we're very pleased to have you. We've had on Ken Colbley from the annual meeting, and he got talking to us, and we spoke again at some length last show we had. But we wanted today sort of drill down on what are some of the specific types of manufacturing elements that are in short supply in Alberta, because we are already started. We've had some conversations here about organizing an opportunity for you and some of the business leaders from your area and from Alberta to come here and actually meet with manufacturers. So for anyone listening, what are the types of manufacturing elements or business opportunities are available for a business that's in manufacturing or associated industries here in the region of Waterloo?
Yeah, absolutely. There's obviously a lot of work out here in Alberta at this time, and a lot of it is related to the oil and gas sector. Anyone that does manufacturing that has plumbers, welders, electricians, pipe fitters, those kinds of skills and trades are very much needed. They're in short supply here. So what we would like to do is extend a welcome to business in Ontario to maybe do some of that work in Ontario. There's things called modules that are built for, say, an upgrader or a refinery or a chemical plant. And these mods can be made in different parts of the country or even the world. And then they can be shipped here, and then they assemble these mods like Lego blocks on site. So this work can be done in Ontario.
And then shipped to Alberta.
And then shipped to Alberta, yes.
Now,
There's actually been product that's been produced in South Korea, shipped to the States, and then hauled up through the States into Alberta to build some of these plants. So if it can be done in South Korea, we can absolutely do it in Ontario. And to be honest, we should be supporting Canadians. So this is a great opportunity.
Well, I think not only that, I think, I've heard some interesting stories, and I think it was you, Todd, that was telling me some interesting stories about, some of the problems with getting, quality control and that type of thing when you're bringing it from such a long distance as South Korea, and then you get there and there are elements of quality control, it becomes very difficult then to address those issues.
Yeah, they're quite intricate, some of these mods, and just that long amount of shipping, whether it's overseas and then up through the States into here, there's greater opportunity for defects to happen, and then they all have to be checked again here. So it would be very advantageous to do it closer than Korea.
Now, Jim Prentice has been out a couple times to speak to our chamber since he's left politics. But he has been very pointed about saying there's lots of opportunity for Ontario manufacturers in and around the energy sector, so oil and gas, in Saskatchewan, Alberta in particular. But I'm the reason I'm that's not my area of expertise. But when you're talking about what the opportunities are, are you talking about a tool and die shop that may be able to be a part of some of these larger projects, a pipe fitting, electrical and mechanical, foundries, fabrication? Are those the types of things you're talking about?
Yeah, those industries are exactly what we need. They're very short in supply here. We have 4 million people here in Alberta now, projected to be 5 million, but everyone can't live in Alberta. I moved from Ontario to Alberta. That was my choice.
Yeah.
But people in Ontario, we're saying you don't have to move to Alberta. Have employers there, manufacturers there, assemble there, up here, and it would be a wonderful thing to share the wealth.
You're listening to Business on 570 News. We're in conversation with Todd Banks. He is the president and CEO of the Sherwood Park and District Chamber of Commerce. Sherwood Park, by the way, is a beautiful suburb. I guess you could call it it's a hamlet, right adjacent to Edmonton. And just a gorgeous part of the beautiful province of Alberta. And Todd in conversation with Ian McLean, president of the Greater Kitchener-Waterloo Chamber of Commerce, and Greg DeRocher, president and CEO of the Cambridge Chamber of Commerce.
Todd, I want to maybe get more specific. You and I and Ian had a conversation about what we could do, and you were you were pretty quick to say that you're ready to, as soon as we're ready, as soon as we can bring our businesses together here, you're ready to bring folks this way. And in fact, you actually said to us, I think, make sure that they don't just come for an information session, that they actually come with their order book. So when how quickly and in reality, when do you think we can put something together like that?
I would say next spring would be an ideal time. There's a lot of projects that are in the books here now, but they're going to take 4, 5, 6 years before they're operational.
Mm-hmm.
And to do this right, I would think that if we could get this all organized and have an opportunity for manufacturers to meet with the oil companies themselves for procurement. There's companies like Meg Energy. They're looking at a $5 billion plant here in the Alberta's industrial heartland. That's the surrounding area around Edmonton. There's including Strathcona County, there's 5 municipalities that belong to the Alberta's industrial heartland. So Meg Energy, that's a $5 billion project. Williams PDH plant, that's a $900 million project. Air Products is doing a new hydrogen plant for $300 million. TransCanada Heartland Terminal, $900 million. ATCO Power is building a generation station here in the Heartland, 350 megawatts. There's a rail terminal for CN being built. There's about $18 billion worth of projects announced to be built here just around Edmonton.
I think what Ian and I are thinking is probably doing some sort of a setup trip around the end of November. Come out and either way, either we'll take a group out there, or you can bring a group here, but a smaller group. We'll talk about the logistics of setting up something bigger in the spring and really identifying key projects that we need to go back to our business community and say, we need expertise in this area. But it really sounds to me like it lends itself to the SME, the small, medium-sized business, that has the ability to be a little bit flexible and maybe go outside of their comfort zone with respects to manufacturing or automation and tap into a new industry that maybe they didn't think they were or haven't been a part of, but certainly have the skills and ability to be a part of.
Yes. And the other side of it, too, is the pipeline side. There's many pipelines being considered at this time. A Kinder Morgan pipeline, the Enbridge pipeline.
Yeah.
Well,
I think this is a great opportunity, and I think it would be important to have that setup meeting so that when we bring some of the representatives, probably here, that they can explain in detail what are the specific types of functions that they need done within the within that manufacturing support sector, so that we can actually go to our members and through EMC and MIN and all the other partners in manufacturing here in the region of Waterloo and say, here are the specific jobs that are going to be coming available, so that they can start thinking about that. Because I really do think one of the issues is Ontario manufacturers in this neck of the woods don't see themselves as being part of the supply chain of oil and gas, and they should, and that's what you're saying, right, Todd?
Absolutely. Ontario is an economic powerhouse in manufacturing. I grew up there. I know what's there, and I know its potential. So we need to partner. We need to get together.
All right, Todd, thanks for your time today. We appreciate it.
Thank you.
Todd Banks has been our guest, the president of the Sherwood Park and District Chamber of Commerce, just outside of Edmonton. You're listening to Business, powered by Save On Energy on 570 News.
Business to Business, powered by Save On Energy, a presentation of 570 News. Watch the live video webcast at 570news.com. We'll return with more Business to Business. You know. It's who you know. Connecting community through business. This is Business to Business on 570 News, powered by Save On Energy.
Welcome back to Business on 570 News, powered by Oktoberfest. It would be like these guys are in such a giddy mood here. McLean and DeRocher are out of control here. They clearly are caught up in the spirit.
Always very excited
of Gemütlichkeit.
Hey, I heard, but by the way, I heard that you're the titan of the tongs.
I am the titan of the pancake tongs. Yes, that's correct.
Wow.
Yesterday morning we served, oh boy, goodness, 10,000 people.
So
free breakfast.
Don't talk about us being all cranked up.
It's a great time of year. You do get it. You know why? We do get a little giddy.
You know, it's really exciting too. We have the captain of the Love Boat in here today.
You know, we're joined by...
You guys think he looks like Steubing from the Love Boat?
Don't you?
Gavin McLeod's character?
Don't you? Take your glasses off, Lester.
Anyway, it's being web streamed. You guys be the judge. Joining us now is, Gavin needs no introduction to you guys, Lester Hawley, who, from the Greater KW Chamber of Commerce, where he is the Vice President of Strategic Initiatives.
Well, so we're joined by Lester today because one of the things that both our chambers have been working on for the last year. We did we've got our chamber travel program, of which Cambridge had started, but we came. You said we really have to do this. It's a great opportunity for businesses to be able to do a travel or a business vacation, if you will, so they can go and see some of the places that we talk about.
Learn about the culture.
In a very cost-effective way. And Lester does, I know you have someone that focuses for your chamber, but Lester on our side is the one that coordinates all of this. So dealing with, as an example, Gallagher's Travel and Peter and his gang do a lot of the work, and I want Lester to explain, how easy these trips are. But we've got some trips going on, and we should talk about, we've got one coming up to
Abu Dhabi and Dubai.
Abu Dhabi and Dubai, and we got two dates that are going. February 12th and March 10th, I think, is a trip.
That's correct.
So we've got how many are going to I know there's 28 going in February. How many are going? Have we got lined up for the March trip?
We have 25 booked right now. We have probably another 10 that are seriously considering it. So
I would be absolutely surprised if we didn't have 60 to 80 on each one of those.
Yeah.
60 to 80 chamber people going over there, going to have an absolutely fantastic time. And Lester can bring the experience because he went over on one of our joint chamber trips to China.
You did China. Why don't you tell folks what is included? So, as an example, Abu Dhabi, if memory serves, is how much is it? It's
$2,800.
But that include. Tell them what that includes and why it's a good deal.
It's a great deal. $2,800 gets you direct flights to Dubai through Emirates Airlines, high-class airlines, great flight direct from Toronto. You get transportation while you're there. You get the English-speaking guides that'll take you all around and show you the sights. You get to go on a excursion out into the desert on 4x4s. They'll take you out and they'll show you the deserts around Dubai. They will then take you to a Bedouin village. You'll spend an evening with Bedouin village eating as the Bedouins would do, a little belly dancing at the end. You can go out and you can...
Is Greg doing the belly dancing?
Yes, that is part of the trip. And you get to experience what it is like to live in the desert as a Bedouin. You get to go out and have a camel ride if you would like. You pet the camels if you want. You can get kissed by a camel, as Terry has done. And then we also have the Dow Cruise dinner as well, and that is Dow are little water taxis that go around the harbors of Dubai and Abu Dhabi, and they will have an excursion through the Bay Area, and you'll have dinner out on the water, and it's a very, very beautiful.
So, but it's your
evening.
flight, it's your hotels, it's a lot of meals.
All the hotels are first-class, 4-star hotels, very recently built, beautiful places.
So tell them, as an example, the China trip, because that was our first one, very successful, and we got great feedback from the people. But you went, and I asked you to come back and tell the staff so that our staff was aware that one of the things you said is it was first class all the way. You didn't have to dig into your pocket. So this is a trip that you can really do cost effectively if you want to see a part of the world that you've never seen before. But is that
exactly? Everything's included on the Dubai trip. There's 4 suppers that are not, but suppers are about half the cost that they are here. So $400 to $500 on top of your $2,800 Canadian would be everything you need, including some money to bring back a gift for Ian or Greg.
You know, I sent Terry Kratz, and a lot of people listening are probably going to know Terry Kratz because he's very involved in the business community. But he's the treasurer of our board, and Lester and I kind of use him as a little bit of a guinea pig. We send him out there because you never know where you're going to go or stay, and Terry's willing to go out there and experience it for the first time. But he came back from Dubai, and he says there's one thing that he just couldn't get out of his mind, is going in and seeing a vending dispensary in a mall that dispensed gold bars, where you can literally put your credit card in, and only in Dubai, as Terry would say, only in Dubai.
You know, a close second to that is I was in Albufeira, Portugal, and the vending machines dispensed cerveza, which is...
Oh, really? Yeah. It's well, I guess, you know, we here look for a bag of chips and a can of pop, but I guess you can put just about anything in them.
I guess gold has its benefits, doesn't it?
Well, but this is an amazing. I had the distinct pleasure in April to go to Qatar, which is in, you know, virtually the same area of the Persian Gulf as Dubai, and it was an unbelievable experience. The people are incredible. The area is incredibly safe. You know, this is not the Middle East. Mm-hmm. This is the Persian Gulf. And at that time of year, February and March, you know, most people are looking at their Mexican or their Florida vacation or some island. Well, you know what? The temperature is going to be exactly the same. The beaches, as Terry attested to both Lester and I, are way better than anything that we've ever seen. And so if you want that winter vacation, that winter getaway, this is the one to look at.
You're listening to Business on 570 News. We're in conversation with Lester Hawley. He is with the Greater Kitchener-Waterloo Chamber of Commerce, where he is the Vice President of Strategic Initiatives.
So I mean, we are marketing that as a great sort of winter business vacation for folks that want to do that. Where are some of the other places? I know, I mean, maybe I know we've got one that we're thinking about for April that leaves in I think April 9th, where we're going to Prague, Budapest, and Vienna. And Greg, you can maybe fill in on setting up some of the business meetings that we might do in Eastern Europe. But Lester, talk about that one as an example. And then while you're doing that, describe the relationship we have with Gallagher's Travel, who are great partners of both chambers of commerce. But they make this very easy for us as chambers to offer this, but they do a lot of the heavy lifting with the people that are going to make sure visas and all of the travel arrangements are taken care of.
Yeah, the Prague, Budapest, and Vienna trip is an 11-day excursion, and it's $29.70 all inclusive, except for about 4 or 5 meals, supper meals. Everything's included: your coach, your air, your English-speaking guides. They'll take you all through the historic areas of those cities. And we have this trip going. We, as a chamber, cannot actually sell travel because of the legislation, the Ontario legislation, and we have to book through a TICO-registered travel agent, and that guarantees you that if there's any problems with the airlines or the tour companies going bankrupt or not fulfilling it, you will actually get your money back. And so we work with Gallagher's Travel, who is a local travel agent, and they book all the travel for all of our trips. And they are a great source of information and support to these trips as well. And great partners to have.
And you know, in some of these areas, and Budapest is a really good example. I have a strong relationship with the Canadian Chamber of Commerce in Budapest. And in fact, they just sent a delegation over last week from a business over there who has a unique product for the furniture industry. I linked them up with one of our Cambridge businesses who was interested in dealing with it here. And actually what's going to happen is they're probably going to end up being the Canadian manufacturer to distribute this product in North America. So these types of things we have the ability to arrange. So if you're a business in the community and you want to take a great holiday to see something new, but you're also interested in maybe experiencing meetings with some business executives or companies within that area, Ian and I can, it's almost as simple as sending an email and we can arrange some sort of meeting or event.
And I don't know whether it's dumb luck or good fortune or good planning, but I think you're starting to see heating up in the papers that the free trade agreement with the EU is starting to heat up. So this is going to be a great area to go for those businesses that want to do some business travel.
And we did that in Ireland. Both of us, we just sent 50 people over to Ireland. They had a great time. Of course, everybody would in Ireland, but we arranged over there with the Clonmel Chamber to have a luncheon. My guy that was over there, Brian Butcher, my vice president, he said everybody was talking about that luncheon for the entire trip. They just had a ball.
So, if you want to get involved with this, you just go to your website, right?
Absolutely. Everything's on our website. You can get all the information there, who to contact.
Right. And I think we need to post a picture of Lester up there to see if we can get everybody saying, yes, he looks exactly like Captain
I'll take a picture and I'll tweet it out and see what
happens.
Lester, thanks for coming up.
Thank you for having me.
And it's Lester Hawley. He is with the Greater Kitchener-Waterloo Chamber of Commerce, where he serves as Vice President of Strategic Initiatives. You're listening to Business, powered by Save On Energy on 570 News.
We'll be right back with more Business, powered by Save On Energy. Call in with your questions at star 570, 570-2545 or 1-800-570-5715. Strong Waterloo region, and when businesses support each other, they support the community. Now back to Business, powered by Save On Energy on 570 News.
Welcome back to Business on 570 News, powered by Save On Energy. And gentlemen, I know you've got a lot on your mind with regard to one particular issue that we first broached with Tory MPP Michael Harris, who represents the riding of Kitchener-Conestoga.
We are not gonna let this go. We are not going to let it go until it's done. Ian and I are fit to be tied, to put it maybe very lightly. But we are going to have this rage segment on every single show, every single Sunday, until something is done to correct it.
Maybe we shouldn't call it rage, because I think we want to be professional about it.
But what do we want to call it?
The fair and open tendering moment. And we're going to embarrass the politicians in this province until they solve the problem. Because what has become more and more clear is everyone of all political stripes has known there's been a problem with this for a long time, and no one is prepared to deal with it for their own political reasons. Whether it's the support that the Liberals get from unions, the NDP philosophically, the Tories were involved in setting this up in the first place.
For sure.
So everyone owns a little piece of this. And so what we're going to do is remind every week in our little corner of the world that there's a problem that politicians should know and need to be fixed. And you've said this before. How can you be against having fair and open tendering? Because it's good for municipalities that deliver services and infrastructure for people. It's fair for taxpayers, who are the ones that foot the bill provincially, federally, and municipally. It's all the same person, and they're paying the bill, and they're not getting what they should. They're not getting value for money. So this just needs to be dealt with. I mean, it's interesting. You've got yesterday's headlines, $1 billion wasted on gas plants, of not building a gas plant.
Right.
$1 billion. And
of not doing something.
That alone should provoke an election where everyone gets the voice on whether we have the right people in Queen's Park.
Yeah.
But now we have this issue, which is it's almost more sinister because it's there. It will always affect municipalities, and we're seeing in the region of Waterloo, if they get sucked up into this, we will get less building, less infrastructure, and less services available to our citizens and to our businesses because of a special deal for one union.
I don't know one politician that has ever campaigned on anything other than fair and transparent government. They all campaign on that.
Absolutely.
And there's no question. They say it's got to be fair for everyone. That's what we want to build laws around here that's fair for everyone that we serve. Well, this is a law that they've allowed to slip in, that an interpretation of a legislative act, the Ontario Labour Relations Act, as I said, allowed a union to go in there and declare, and the Labour Relations Board to declare that municipalities are construction employers. That is absolutely stupid.
Well, and in one case, Essex School Board is now deemed, and this is what I hope we can over time. Maybe next week we should take a couple of minutes and try and give some of the context.
Yes.
But here's an example: the Essex School Board, de facto, is considered to be a construction company. So think about that. The Essex School Board, and it could happen here but it was like saying the Waterloo District School Board is a construction employer because they sometimes have to build new schools. Well, everyone knows that what they are is they're educators. You can have your difficulties of what they do and when bell times are, but they deliver a service called education.
Absolutely.
They are not a construction. Under this act, and what happens is the school board in that case, and in this case the region, is considered to be a construction company. We all know that a school board is not a construction company. And they are then hamstrung by these laws to have to use one specific union, which means, and we've heard, again, the example, the wastewater plant here in town or in the regional municipality, $130 million project. We had 27 bidders. Well, we all know, hopefully you get the best price, the best quality and all that. That would have been 2 bidders based on with this same union. So that's not good for citizens or municipalities or taxpayers.
No. We'll revisit this topic, no doubt.
Every week we're revisiting this.
It'll never stop.
And again, we're talking about the defeat of Michael Harris's proposed Bill 73, right? So
Now, to be fair, we're gonna talk this about in the general sense. It's not about that act anymore. Something's got to give, and whether it's that act or something else, it needs to be fixed.
All right, a few minutes to go, gentlemen. What have you guys got going on at your respective chambers?
Well, on October the 25th, we, the Cambridge Chamber, have Salute to Small Business. It's Small Business Week. We have Barry Moltz, a great author of a book called Small Town Rules. He's coming in, and for everyone out there, the first 150 get in for free. And so you can just go on our website, cambridgechamber.com, look for the event.
That's a price that I can sink my
I know.
teeth into.
I was actually thinking
I've got Scottish roots, so I'm telling you that's a good price for me.
And then we'll talk about it more later, but we've got a social media expert we've had on this show, Frank Kenny from Seattle.
Yep.
We've got Frank coming in. He's phenomenal. He's going to do a workshop on November the 6th, actually, along with breakfast, and it'll be a good one. So everybody's welcome to come to that. Everybody needs some education on social media. So I know you got a full plate.
Now
too,
we got for Small Business Week we have a vice president from the Business Development Bank of Canada, Marianne Wenster-Wiebe, who's going to come and talk about taking advantage of the opportunities for growth in today's economy, and in particular for those small medium-sized businesses, and hopefully educate our members about what BDC can do with a lot of their services that are geared towards small and medium-sized businesses growing. So we're excited about that. Regional trade show, we can't forget about that. The Guelph Chamber, the Cambridge Chamber, and ourselves putting on the regional business.
We only have a few booths left.
Yeah.
I know you only have a few booths left.
We are almost sold out of our allotment, and I know you're getting there. So we hope to have, I think it's 195 booth and exhibitors.
We'll 2,000
attendees. so there's a great opportunity to showcase your business in the region. So we're excited about that. And our nominations are already open. I can't believe another year's passed for our Business Excellence Awards Gala. I think we've got 13 award categories, so the nominations are open. Go to our website at greaterkwchamber.com and look for those to nominate your favorite business. And finally, our Chamber Academy, I know you've expanded that, and because we are trying to do more to educate and give those opportunities to our members. Our Chamber Academy this year, we've actually really expanded that. We've moved from having 4 or 5 sessions. I think we've got 11 or 12 now, so every 3 weeks between the start of November and June, there'll be some sort of session that will focus on things like leadership development, team development, marketing and sales, as well as just social media and those types of things. So we're going to try and make those more frequent.
These are great programs, and
very
every employer should take advantage of sending their employees and getting some free education.
Absolutely.
All right. Well, gentlemen, no doubt you'll be out and about as well celebrating Oktoberfest. We talked at length last week about what this festival means to the local economy.
I asked Ian where his lederhosen was this morning, but he said he actually doesn't have any, but he was going to wear his kilt.
I'm glad he didn't wear lederhosen. I don't know if I could handle that.
I've got the knees for it, though. I'm just telling you.
We have web stream viewers who might be equally put out by that sight. Anyway.
Glenn, it's been a blast.
It's always been a good time.
Happy Thanksgiving to everybody.
Yes. Happy Thanksgiving. Have a happy and safe Oktoberfest. Thank you for listening. Our thanks as well to producers Candace Cobbing and Catherine Drake. We'll see you again next Sunday for another edition of Business to Business on 570 News.